Right now on Hoosier News Source, we'll tell you about the Bloomington resident who has been held hostage in Venezuela, and more on Bloomington's very own housing crisis.
And I have when we can expect beautiful weather this week and when the rain will return. Hoosier News Source starts now.
Hello and welcome to Hoosier News Source. I'm Meredith Strewing. To start this week's show, our Sarah McCorkle joins us in studio with a look at the weather. Sarah?
Thanks, Meredith. Luckily for us here in Bloomington, spring weather is slowly making its return. This Thursday in particular, we will be having some beautiful weather. Taking a look at the high temperatures, we can see Indianapolis 59, Bloomington 63, and we can thank this due to southwest wind coming up from the south, bringing warm air to us. And the sunny skies and nice weather will not be sticking around for long, however, as we take a look at what is in store for Saturday. Saturday morning into afternoon, we can expect rain showers and the occasional rumble of thunder. Taking a look at the map, we can see along this cold front rain, and then once this cold front passes, we can expect temperatures to cool down. We can see just how cold it will get looking at the extended forecast. So Wednesday, it will be sunny, high 58, Thursday 63, those nice temperatures we were talking about. And then Friday, Saturday, we can expect some rain and temperatures can get as low as 32 degrees once that cold front passes. And then Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, temperatures starting to climb back up into the low 50s. And that's it for weather this week. Hoosiers, make sure to take advantage of the warmer weather before the weekend rain comes. Meredith, back to you.
We start Hoosier News Source tonight with breaking news. Mayoral candidate and County Commissioner Amanda Barge is being accused of sexual harassment and has suspended her campaign. The Indiana Daily Student broke the story on Monday night, detailing the accusations made by Brandon Drake, a county contractor that Barge repeatedly harassed over the course of a year, beginning in 2017. In the article, Drake provides copies of emails, text messages, and recorded conversations exchanged between himself and Barge detailing the allegations. Barge denies engaging in sexual harassment. Hoosier News Source will provide you with updates on our Twitter page at IUSTV News and our Facebook page, IUSTV News. The U.S. government recently brought back several Americans who were being held under Nicolas Maduro's Venezuelan regime, but at least one American remains hostage there. And as our Courtney Sisk reports, his story is one of heartbreak and hope, and it hits close to home.
Hello, Mom. Being videoed, you know I don't like that too much, but it's for you, so I'm here, I love you, and I think I'm going to be coming home very soon, Mom.
Home for Todd Leininger is right here in Bloomington, but for the past 5 years, he has been living in Venezuelan prisons. Since that video was taken last year, the leaves fell, the snow melted, and the trees are now starting to bud. But Todd still isn't home. His mother, Barbara, is.
It breaks my heart every moment to think of what he's going through.
Todd traveled to San Cristobal, Venezuela 5 years ago with his wife, a native. They went to help her family with struggles they faced living under the Maduro regime.
A lot of people were arrested. Well, they had a U.S. citizen. And once they had a U.S. citizen, they started charging him with terrorism, weapons trafficking.
His release date was issued in November 2018 by a judge. But that was before Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro's government stepped in and blocked the release.
Right now, he's starving. I mean, they have used those exact words.
Barbara has been in contact with Indiana representatives in D.C., but she feels it's up to her to hold them accountable and raise awareness through social media using the hashtag #BringToddHome and Keep Todd Alive.
Courtney, it's really not easy to hold on to that hope, I will tell you. And if I lose the ability to stay strong and to keep my hope going, I think we're lost.
She also mentions her faith in God's plan, something her and Todd strongly believe in. For Hoosier News Source, I'm Courtney Sisk.
Todd's mother describes him as a fun-loving person that enjoys helping others. To spread awareness on social media, use the hashtag #BringToddHome. We are all thinking of Todd's family here at IUS TV during this difficult time. In 2017, a study conducted by 24/7 Wall Street concluded that Bloomington is the most expensive Indiana city to live in. The report looked at levels of cost of goods and services, value of a dollar, poverty rates, and household income. The average rent for a 930 square foot apartment in Bloomington rounds out to be about $1,067 per month.
I think why they say Bloomington is more expensive is because a lot of the residents here in Bloomington are cost burdened, which means that they pay 30% or more of their income for their housing cost. And so therefore that makes it very expensive to live within the community.
Currently, the city is building Crescent Development, which will include 140 units for low-income families, and working with the not-for-profit SciHo organization for inexpensive housing options. For Hoosier News Source, I'll be conducting a series of interviews and studies to find out what exactly goes into the cost of living in Bloomington and if it's still the priciest Indiana city to live in. Last week was National Safe Place Week, a week dedicated to educating communities about a program for teens to seek help from local businesses. Yellow signs around the country mark places where minors can seek help when they are struggling at home or at school. Here in Monroe County, some of those locations include the Monroe County Public Library and Pizza X restaurants. Those businesses work with the Youth Services Bureau to provide support and shelter to minors in crisis situations. The Bureau's Safe Place coordinator says teens used the program 44 times just last year.
We're seeing more kids that want to access the program, that are aware of the program, and that's a big part of my job, is making sure the community, kids, adults know what the program is, know how it works, and can educate others about using it.
There are more than 20,000 Safe Place sites across the country. You can find those sites on nationalsafeplace.org. This Thursday, the IU Muslim Student Association held a vigil in remembrance for the victims in the New Zealand shooting. The vigil took place at the IMU, where people piled in, filling every single seat and beyond, in honor of those affected in the shooting. Attendees were encouraged by members to speak up about their thoughts and feelings during the commemoration, how to better support the Muslim community, and how IU can take a stand towards hate crimes. Their vocalizations were impactful to group members and to the community.
To see non-Muslims come here, it was really amazing to see, just because we need the support. And definitely one thing I was worried about this is that, we're on our own for this. And because honestly, the world can be against us, and that's what it feels like. But it's sad that something tragic had to happen in order to see the love that people are willing to give to the Muslim community. But it was really heartwarming to see the support.
The support continues as the organization celebrates Islam Awareness Week this week with numerous events for IU students to join. If you would like to be involved or wish to attend any of these events, you can visit the IMA's Facebook page for more details. Indiana University police are investigating after a student was reportedly assaulted and raped Sunday on the Bloomington campus. Around 1 a.m. on Sunday morning, IU emergency updates were sent to students alerting them that a student was approached outside of Eigenman Hall, struck in the head, and then sexually assaulted. Police said the only description they have of the suspect is that he was male. In a statement made by IUPD Public Information Officer Captain Craig Monroe, "We have an ongoing investigation right now. We received the report by a third party. We have not talked to the victim, and that's by her choice." No arrests have been made, but police officers will continue to patrol the area for safety measures. IU student government executive elections are set to take place this week. On Monday night, the Election Commission hosted a debate for students to hear from both campaigns. Hoosier News Source reporter Andrew Lamparski has more.
Diversity, sexual assault, and healthcare. Moderated by Bloomington Mayor John Hamilton, Executive Campaign's Bridge IU and Vision dove deep into each of these issues and more. The goal? To convince student voters that their team has what it takes to lead IUSG through the upcoming school year.
This was an event that we wanted to be just informative for us as it was informative for the people who came out.
I hope that students take away that there are two really great tickets out there, and that Vision has spent a lot of time talking to students already.
Bridge IU promises to connect different parts of campus and the city to provide new opportunities.
Sort of bridge the gap between different schools on campus.
While Vision promises to give students a chance to be directly involved in IUSG's policies.
Therefore, students should decide what the priorities of the student government are.
Topics from tonight's debate range from scooters to sustainability. But one of the biggest issues that the campaigns talked about tonight was how to get students more involved in student government next year.
If elected, both groups plan to host monthly town halls to hear from students around campus. Town halls would give students the chance to raise concerns about issues such as sexual assault on campus, an issue that the university dealt with just this weekend.
We asked, how can IU improve the policies, procedures, and prevention resources offered to students? The results of that working group are 11 recommendations that we've already submitted to the provost and to Division of Student Affairs staff members and other offices.
We need to get together with the people who have been dealing with this in the past and come up with something that is a lot more effective and a lot more prevention oriented, so to make sure that this isn't something that happens on a regular basis.
The Election Commission will send an email to IU students on Wednesday with instructions on how to vote for student government candidates. Voting will close on Thursday night. For Hoosier News Source, I'm Andrew Lamparski.
The IUSG will send a link to the executive election ballot on Wednesday, and voting will close on Thursday. To learn a little more about each campaign, you can view the full debate on iustv.com. And coming up, our global report with updates from around the world. Stay with us. Welcome back to Hoosier News Source. Now let's take a look at stories people are talking about around the globe with this week's edition of the Global Report. Larmy?
Thanks, Meredith. President Donald Trump on Monday overturned a long-standing U.S. policy regarding the Israeli-occupied Golan Heights. The Golan Heights has been a disputed territory between Israel and Syria since a war in the 60s between the two nations. The Syrian foreign minister called the decision a blatant attack on Syria. This hands Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu a significant foreign policy victory. All this less than 3 weeks before Israelis head to the polls to decide whether or not he should remain in power.
It doesn't change anything, but unfortunately we have to acknowledge that it triggers more escalation and more tension in the international relationship all over the world. But it has only one positive side, to be honest with you. The American administration is further deeply finding itself isolated.
Trump's decision will most likely be challenged by the United Nations and other countries. The Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who we referred to earlier, returned to Israel earlier than expected, shortly after the signing, due to a rocket attack. Israel blames Hamas, a terrorist group based in Palestine. In this video, you see what the Israeli military says was a strike on the office of a senior Hamas official in Gaza on Monday night as retaliation. The original rocket fired from Gaza hit a home in central Israel Monday morning, setting the building on fire and injuring 7 people. It is the farthest the rocket has been fired into Israel since the 2014 war. That's according to the military. This is also seen as the most the two sides have engaged each other since that 2014 war. Roughly 1 million people marched in London Saturday, taking part in a protest demanding a second referendum for Brexit. The UK voted to leave the European Union back in 2016, but leaving has been a bit of a struggle. EU leaders have agreed to delay the UK's exit, which is supposed to be this week. Protesters called for a second vote Now they've been given more time. The protesters also drew in notable political figures who strongly opposed the Prime Minister's exit strategy. Britain's Prince of Wales and the Duchess of Cornwall have arrived in Cuba this week. The trip is controversial because the Trump administration considers Cuba to be part of a troika of tyranny alongside Venezuela and Nicaragua. The trip was planned before the Venezuelan humanitarian crisis drew the attention of the world. The U.S. strongly believes that Cuba is propping up the embattled government of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. No comment so far from President Trump, but he's unlikely to warm up to these images, considering what he and other senior officials have said in the past.
Maduro is not a Venezuelan patriot. He is a Cuban puppet. That's what he is.
Cuba is the true imperialist power in Venezuela.
Some call the country now Cuba's Venezuela.
Foreign and Commonwealth Office maintains that it is going ahead with this trip as part of a long-standing British policy of engaging and, quote, having a frank dialogue with Cuba. And finally tonight, aid efforts continue in Zimbabwe as parts of Southeast Africa after devastation caused by Cyclone Idai. The deadly cyclone tore through Mozambique, killing 400, causing flooding before moving inland to Zimbabwe and Malawi. NGO Save the Children says they are saving roads. They're saying bad roads are making it difficult for organizations to bring in aid to affected areas and peoples. Among the places severely affected is Chipinge District, where 13,000 refugees are residing in a camp. Cyclone Idai has killed over 100 people in the country. In response, the Zimbabwean government has declared a state of disaster. That's all for the Global Report tonight. Thank you so much for watching. Now back to you, Meredith.
Thanks, Larmy. That's all for this week on Hoosier News Source. For more campus and local news, visit our website at iustv.com and like us on social media. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at iustv news. From all of us here, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.